Well, college football fans, Clemson Tiger fans, welcome back to another episode of the Clemson Tiger pregame show here on the Voice of College Football Clemson channel. And thank you for joining me for North Carolina State Week. It's a big week for Clemson. College game days in the house. There's a hurricane bearing down on the southeast. There's rain. There's wind. There's all sorts of storylines that we'll get into in this episode. And I'm excited to talk about some Clemson football today. So without further ado, I'm Tiger Paul Craven. I'll bring on my two co-hosts. I have Jordan Bowman and DeAndre with me today. Fellas, thank you for joining me on this fine Friday afternoon.
Absolutely,
How you doing,
man.
bro?
Hey, man, it's good to see you guys. The week has finally arrived. College game day is finally in the house. Finally seeing a night game in Death Valley with all the fans, probably some wind, probably some rain. That's all yet to be seen. How you guys feeling?
Feeling good about it. I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the game that, going into the season, this is the game we all had circled.
This is right. Yep.
I'm sure a lot of fans, haven't forgotten the sting of that loss last year.
Absolutely.
And I think that, this was a game like going into the season. We had it circled. We knew it was going to be the biggest litmus test probably within the conference. And will determine probably a lot of things for Clemson's postseason prospects, whether they make it to the ACC championship game or not. So I'm really excited, and I'm gonna be at the game. So I'm really excited. I'm gonna get to experience it live.
That's what's up, man.
It's gonna be good.
I wish I was at this game.
Remember the last storm hurricane game?
Yeah, Notre Dame
2015. Yep.
Yeah.
Notre Dame 2015. That was
Stop
an
Deshaun
epic game.
Kaiser. Stop Deshaun Kaiser on that 2-point conversion. Yeah, I'll never forget.
On the goal line, Ben Boulware comes out with the tackle of the game on Deshaun Kaiser. So that was an epic game. And then that's where the infamous slogan BYOG, bring your own guts, right? That came out of that was born in the middle of that hurricane game against Notre Dame. So
but he said we give you scholarships, we give you money. We can't give you I don't know about the money part, but
that's right.
Like that.
I mean, they get stipends and stuff before name, image, and likeness happened. They did get money, if you will, I guess. Just in the form of sanctioned NCAA money, right?
Yeah, but that's a classic Daboism right there.
Yeah.
never forget that.
And I truly believe that was like totally off the cuff too. Because like I feel like that's kind of how Dabo operates, right? Like he's just in the moment living it, and like what comes out comes out.
Oh yeah.
And you can, as a fan, I can respect that because what we get criticized on here sometimes is we let our emotions just flow out, and maybe we're too critical sometimes. But at the end of the day, fan is short for fanatic. So, of course, we're going to overreact on both good and bad. That's kind of just the nature of being a fan of a team, right? So let's talk a little bit about the game. But before we get into that, I guess we'll talk about the elephant in the room, if you will, by the name of Ian, the hurricane that's currently messing up all of college football in the southeast of the United States, which is where college football is alive and well. And the biggest, in my opinion, I'm sorry to the Northeast. Don't get mad at me, Big Ten fans. You'll be okay, even if you do. But I know I'm having storm where I'm at. I know we're missing one of our hosts today because of power outages and Wi-Fi outages and things like that. Where are things where you guys are located? How's the storm where you guys? I know we're all in the general area of Ian right now, which is a pretty big
I live
area.
down the street from you.
Yeah, we do.
Down the street from you, so we go through the same thing.
Yeah, we're basically neighbors,
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's and if you guys don't know, I'm in Clemson, so it's really pertinent to how the game is going to play out, what's happening over here. But right now,
folks, we're getting insider information from Jordan Bowman.
Yeah, that's right.
Right in the hills of Death Valley.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's looking pretty good right now. I mean, it's cloudy and it's windy, but there's only some light rain, just some light drizzles here and there. It'll probably pick up later tonight, but all in all, it doesn't look like it's going to be a super like a super soak kind of situation where it's just like a bunch of rain, and it's looking like by tomorrow, a lot of that will clear up. So the field will probably be wet, but for the game, but I don't think there'll be a ton of rain during the game. So I think that's good news for those that are at the game, because we all remember that Notre Dame game, and it was pouring rain, everybody in rain ponchos, and it was just an ugly game. But it was it was special. But so it won't be similar to that.
I watched it on TV, so I was dry, and I was loving every minute of it. Minus how close it was, because I hate every Clemson game that's close. I know everybody on the outside's like, man, that was a great college football game. I'm sitting here dying with every play, okay? So, but I think every college football fan can relate when their team's in that situation. But it looks like for all of the talk of the weather this week leading up to the game, maybe the weather's not such a big factor. I'm sure, like you said, Jordan, the field will be wet. But I think we get a pretty normal-ish college football game for the most part. So that leads into the question of who has the advantage in this game with a wet field.
Wait a minute. Well, we got to give some history to this game.
Oh, my bad. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize to DeAndre. I apologize to the people viewing. I'm going to give DeAndre a couple minutes right now to school myself, Jordan Bowman, and the rest of the people watching on some Clemson NC State history, because let's be honest, there's no love lost between these two fan bases. There's no love lost between these two coaches. I don't care what Dabo wants to say. Him and Dave Doran don't exactly get along. There's been some shenanigans on the field in the past years, notably, Dave Doran talking about, knocking Wayne Goldman out of the game, assistant coaches taking swipes at players, so on and so forth. We can get into all of it, but I'll let our historian DeAndre school you guys on some history with this rivalry, because it is a rivalry, regardless of what you guys think.
Yeah. And if people don't really know, I think I told you this before. NC State and Georgia Tech is probably our biggest rival. And we consider them rivals, somebody that spoils the moment of the game. NC State and Georgia Tech has done that to Clemson a lot in the past. South Carolina has never done that. But this is what the 89th meeting between the two. Clemson lead the series 59-29 with one tie. We want to talk about, in the 1980s, everybody knows Clemson pretty much ran the ACC outside of 3 years it was on probation. So 86, 87, and 88, Clemson was upset by NC State by being ranked in the top 10. 87.
You still there, DeAndre?
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought it was just me. I was like, did we lose him?
Yeah, I think we lost him a little bit. All right. So while we're waiting for DeAndre to come back, DeAndre, I'm going to put you in the back for now. Give me a thumbs up when your internet pops back through. Like I said, guys, those of you watching right now, we are all three of us are within, the wind and the rain, the outer bands, if you will, of this storm. So we may be in and out. If we do lose connection, if I lose connection, I apologize. I'll get it back online as soon as I can. And if I can't, again, I apologize. We are at the mercy of Mother Nature at this point. So while we're waiting on DeAndre, before we get into the game, Jordan, maybe let's look at some comments here.
Sounds good.
Let's see what we got. SEC Dog says, "What's up, guys? I think Saturday will tell a lot about Clemson's identity this year."
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. It's top 10 matchup. I mean, there's no way around it. Look, for both teams, this is where the rubber meets the road. There's no hiding. we are on, this is the game of the week in college football. So everybody's watching, nobody's hiding, and absolutely. Courtney gets in, says, "Let's go Tigers." Thanks, babe. That's my wife. SEC Dog gets back in. Thoughts and prayers for people in Charleston, Georgetown area, and of course Fort Myers, Florida. Yeah, everybody within.
Fort Myers, man.
Yeah, Fort Myers got hit pretty good. Was it Fort Myers? Somebody else got hit pretty good too, right? I don't know. Thoughts up to those people that lost their house that actually got real damage. Us up here, we're not getting real damage. We're getting a lot of rain, wind, some trees down, and some power outages. So yeah, absolutely, we're gonna be on here talking college football. But yes, we do care about those people and hope that they get all the assistance that they need. Let's see, SEC Dog. I used to live in Fort Myers Beach.
Oh,
wow. It's unrecognizable right now. That's unfortunate, man. Hope everyone stays safe until this thing gets gone. Absolutely. Hopefully everyone stays safe. Hopefully the powers that be can get a lot of aid in there super quick and get those people help. Coastal got off the hook. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Not even much rain, which has surprised me. So, yeah, absolutely. All right, Jordan. DeAndre seems that he's dropped out. So I guess we will put the history on hold, the history of the rivalry on hold, and get into some game talk here. So your overall thoughts leading into the game, factoring in weather and all the media clippings that's come. There's a lot of talk on this game. This is the biggest game in college football this weekend. So what are your initial thoughts as a Clemson fan heading into this weekend?
Well, again, and it's kind of what SEC Dog said, in his earlier comment. This is going to determine a lot of what we see, out of Clemson going forward. I mean, this is going to show who this team really is, because NC State, and maybe not a lot of people realize this, but NC State is just from a physical standpoint, from an athleticism standpoint, they're about as well matched for Clemson as there is in the ACC right now.
Absolutely.
And I obviously,
talent-wise, for sure.
Yeah,
and yeah.
Yeah, they are a very experienced group. It's not just talent, but they're very experienced. A lot of homegrown talent, a lot of guys that weren't necessarily highly recruited out of high school, but were developed into really, really good football players. I mean, you think of those linebackers they got: Peyton Wilson, Drake Thomas, Isaiah Moore, like that.
Drake Thomas is a beast, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
That dude he loves contact, man.
Yep, and guys like, and guys in the back end like Shaheem Battle and Tanner Ingle, like these are really experienced, really good football players. And I'm really interested to see what wins out, because Clemson, on the other hand, they have a lot of talent and they have experience in some areas, but as a whole, this is still a group that is finding its identity and finding its chemistry together. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see what wins out here. Because is it the talent of Clemson, or is it the physical experience of NC State? And whoever wins this game gets a leg up in the ACC Atlantic race. So obviously this game, just from a national perspective, but even just in a conference championship race perspective, is huge and arguably the biggest game of the year. So I'm really interested to see just who wins out in that battle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the same thing. To your point, I think Wake Forest not Wake Forest. What am I talking about? North Carolina State is way more experienced, I think, as a whole team. These dudes came back with a purpose, right? Like they had a lot of dudes come back this year that could have left, probably could have went to the NFL and been on teams right now. But they chose to come back to North Carolina State for a reason. And they chose to come back and play for Dave Doran for a reason. So you have to take that into account. when guys come back and they come back with a purpose, they're never an easy out. And North Carolina State hasn't been an easy out very often for Clemson. There's been a couple games that, kind of get out of hand and things like that. But I think from a size standpoint, from a talent standpoint, from an experience standpoint, they definitely are the team to really challenge Clemson. I think this is the game of the year in the ACC, and I think whoever wins this game goes to the ACC championship. And I know it's early to talk things like that, but I really do believe that. I do believe this game decides the Atlantic. I really do. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm proven wrong. But it's yet to be seen. DeAndre's back in the back room, so I'm going to bring him back on, and we will shift gears. Sorry to the fans. We will shift gears back to our history lesson with DeAndre. Hey, DeAndre, you back with us, man?
Yeah, I think it's the internet. It's power going crazy over here. But let's make a long story short. 87 was one of Clemson's best teams. Those 3 years, they was ranked in the top 10. 87 year, they lost 10-3. Michael Dean Perry breaks his brother's sack record during that game. 2011, that's probably one that we all remember. Clemson get upset by NC State. I think it was ranked number 9. So that's basically about it. I don't want to take up too much time talking about the history. But it's a very good rivalry. NC State has done a very good job of spoiling those over the years. This is the first time they ranked as top 10, 5 and 10. This is the 20th time that Clemson has been hosted on some type of segment of college football, like them being at the game while Clemson was there. So that's a big factor in this game today too. But let's talk about the game. I don't want to waste too much time talking about the other stuff. We got time. We'll talk about it later.
Absolutely. So DeAndre, give me 1 second.
Yeah. But
all right. So I'll pose the question. Are you guys getting feedback, or is that?
I'm hearing something. I don't know what that is.
All right. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, guys, in the chat. I got to figure this out for a second. You guys go ahead.
Yeah, but this is a very big game. I know he had Hate Week up here. That's kind of referring to Georgia Tech. It should be called the Textile Bowl. And very big game, especially up here in North Carolina when the state fair is going on. I see somebody said Florida State is our biggest rival, but we haven't played Florida State as much as we played NC State. And NC State and Clemson has, I say, more meaningful games throughout history. If you know anything about North Carolina, and I know your people are from this area, they really hate Clemson football because Clemson always used to spank all them teams, especially in the advent of the TV. So there's a lot of hate for that. And Clemson is the big-time program around here.
All right, guys. Can you guys hear me, or am I still
I hear you fine.
I can hear. I don't know what that sound is though. It doesn't sound like feedback, but it sounds like I don't know, something's going on.
Clicking noise.
It's not a clicking noise. It's like I can't tell.
Is it a dryer?
Might be. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah, I think my dryer on in the back. I go
It's going now. I think
it's gone, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, those of you in the chat, can you guys hear any feedback right now, or is it just us? Somebody get in the chat and let me know if you guys are hearing any feedback.
I really don't hear nothing.
I don't hear anything now.
I think it's gone now, but it definitely was there. It was bothering me, so I know it's probably bothering people out there.
For all y'all betting fans, y'all better get in on the bet because the line is moving up in Clemson's favor. I think it went from 6.5 to 7, and I wouldn't trust that.
Hey, y'all get in on that. So the reason that so DeAndre said it should be the Textile Bowl. Yes, it should be. That's the name of the game, right? But for me, it's hate week. I can't stand North Carolina State. I can't stand Dave Doran. I can't stand North Carolina State. And that's just me as a Clemson fan. Look, it is what it is. No love lost between these two fan bases, and I'm not going to pretend like there is. So let's talk a little bit about some keys to the game. Okay, so let's talk about the Clemson offense heading into this game. DJ and the receivers are coming off of a big Wake Forest victory, right? Every time they were asked to answer the bell, DJ and the receivers got in there. They answered the bell. The offensive line protected. We got enough out of the running game. Although it wasn't great, we got enough out of the running game, right? So the offense is coming off a pretty big game against Wake Forest. How do you guys think that translates into this North Carolina State game? Do you think there's any carryover? Or do you think it's, from square one, it's a completely different defense? What do you guys think?
I think it's going to be I think the reason why I say it's going to be different, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. If you go back and look at what North Carolina State did to us on defense last year, they ran the 3-3-5, and their safeties played back. If you go to the first touchdown that DJ threw, he threw a touchdown to Bo Collins one-on-one in the back of the end zone. So Clemson moved the ball against NC State until they went to that 3-3-5 set. So we got to be able to block those three defensive linemen. They got very good experience linebackers, NC State does. So we got to be able to get them out of that alignment and be able to throw the ball down the field. I think Wake Forest played us a lot of one-on-one last week. So I think we got, when I say better receivers, I know these are some of the same guys, but players that will fight, receivers that will fight for the ball and challenge to get the ball out fast, run screens, make them come out, and also run the ball. I think that's what we need to focus on this time go around. Get them out of that 3-3-5 alignment.
Jordan, what do you think?
Well, kind of to DeAndre's point, he did mention, the alignment. They play back. They play a lot of zone. NC State plays, I think they play more zone than any other team in the conference. So I think the key for this offense is staying patient. I think DJ's going to have to, he's going to have to, obviously the offensive line is going to have to buy him time, which they did a good job of last week. So if they continue that performance, DJ's got to be patient, deliver the ball into the, in the soft, spots in the zone. I still expect this team to take some shots down the field, but I think NC State's going to want to make Clemson methodically work it down the field, and DJ's got to be patient and, sometimes take what the defense gives him. I think it's big that I think the difference between this game and what happened last year is now Clemson kind of has those those chain movers, not just a bunch of big 6'4" type receivers. You have guys like Antonio Williams and Brandon Spector, and then the tight ends have become reliable chain movers. Jake Brenning-Stool had some key conversions last week. Davis Allen,
a lot of them. Yeah,
Davis Allen was a huge red zone target. So. I think in a lot of short yardage situations, I think Clemson has a lot more options, and it'll definitely help DJ not have to rely on the big play so much in this game. So, just being patient, but staying balanced and, take the shots when they're there, but don't force anything. I think that's going to be the biggest thing for this offense. And I think they can, I think they are good enough at this point that we can expect them to move the ball, I think, and put up enough points to win this game.
Yeah, and I think one of the big things coming into this week is the Clemson offense. Sorry if you go.
I guess he paused.
Yeah. Oh, man. This is going to happen a couple of times. I can already tell this show, but it is what it is. But
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I was just saying, until he comes back. I think this offense definitely is the main overarching thing is take what the defense gives you, stay balanced, and So go ahead.
Because you gotta force those safeties to come down and help stop the run. The running game is going to be big, so our offensive line, 188 yards is a lot, but we still got to be able to push the ball a little bit. I didn't know DJ last year only threw for 111 yards during the game last year. I think they only had like 100. Yeah, I think we only had 214 yards of offense last year, and took them overtime to beat us. Another thing that we got to look up for, last year we had 13 penalties. I know that we only had 94 yards off those penalties, but you look at when those penalties came, I think Foster, we had them stopped on a 4th and 1, and Foster jumped outside. That led to a touchdown. I think that we're going to do a very good job, but sticking with the offense since he left, just get the pass out fast. Get into, like you said, we have more shifty receivers this year. We don't have a 6'4" Ross in the slot where he's really kind of coming off an injury and he's and our receivers got hurt during that game last year. That kind of killed us too.
Yep.
Last year. So I can't wait for it, man. I think it's going to be an excellent game, a great matchup to see how DJ has improved. NC State hasn't really played outside of Texas Tech, and I think Texas Tech quarterback didn't play that game. They haven't really played any good offenses because we all know Connecticut is terrible. College of Charleston is not very good there. Even on their level, they're not very good. Texas Tech quarterback was hurt, and
they should have lost to ECU.
Yeah, I think they needed a block punt, and the field goal unit for East Carolina killed them. So that kind of hurt. So we're going to see what they're really about this game because I don't think they're running the ball as good as they have in the past with losing Knight and Pierce. And then also everybody forget they lost their left tackle who was a top 10 pick. So we're going to see if they can push the ball on defense.
Yeah, I that's a good point too, because as much talk, and I guess that kind of transitions into the talking about the NC State offense versus the Clemson defense. With as much talk and as much preseason hype as Devin Leary and that offense got, they've been pretty underwhelming so far. I think Devin, if you look at statistically. He doesn't look bad. I think he has 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. But in the
11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, I believe.
But in the 2 Power 5 games that he played, he had under. I think he had maybe like 210 passing yards or something like that. And just that offense in general, the passing offense still hasn't really gelled for NC State yet. They don't really have that number 1 receiver that they had last year. If you remember in the last year's game, Emeka Emezi had himself a day. He's gone now, and so it's
Thomas is leading receiver now, right?
Yeah. Other than Thayer Thomas, who's been there a long time, they're their slot guy. There's not a lot of proven guys that are stepping up. There's guys like Devin Carter, but that wide receiver room in general doesn't really scare you, and I think that's the biggest thing because that's what killed Clemson last week. Wake has is probably 5 or 6 deep of NFL receivers,
right?
But I don't see that with this NC State team. The scheme, the way they they're not nearly as explosive, and they don't really run the ball well either. So all in all, I haven't really been impressed with this NC State offense. And I think you're going to see a much stronger performance from this Clemson defense, especially against the run.
I think so too. And like I said, I think they need to Clemson got to get them out of that cover 3 across. The 3 safeties back and whatever. Those linebackers are excellent, but like I said, State has really not been tested this year. So I'm waiting to see how they're going to be when they get tested by offenses that is performing pretty well at this time. And they already played a top 25 team in Wake Forest. To say what you want to say about Wake Forest, I think I saw that, we done blown Wake Forest out the last couple of years, but Wake Forest has always been able to move the ball against Clemson. So I think they're last team to have 400 yards against us last year was Wake Forest. Yep. Nobody else did it. So this NC State team I want to see. And then I don't want to see us blitz so much. I want to see us play coverage. I think that killed us last year. So do you have any updates on Xavier Thomas, Akuba? Is he coming back for this game, or Sherrington Jones? Are those three coming back this game?
Well, on the Xavier Thomas front, I know he tweeted out that he was still day to day, and it was going to be a game time decision on whether or not he would play, and he's taking it he's taking it day to day. And there's I think this was a couple of days ago, but he said there was still too much. He's still dealing with some pain, so it's really just about when that pain starts to subside is when he'll come back. So I wouldn't bet on seeing XT this week. I was hoping we would see him this week, but it seems like that may or may not happen. And then in regards to the guys in the secondary, you mentioned Sheridan Jones and Andrew Makuba, Malcolm Green as well. Dabo has been very tight-lipped about that. He said no guarantees on any of them. So it doesn't seem – I think Dabo's playing the injury card close to the vest. I think you'll see – I don't know if you'll see all of them back, but I think you'll see one or two. If I had to bet. I think Dabo is trying – obviously, why give your opponent more data to work with, telling them what guys are going to be there. So it'll be really interesting to see what guys Clemson has back, especially in that secondary. Trey Williams is coming back. That has been confirmed. So I think that's going to be a huge boost for Clemson in on the interior. He's a fantastic run defender. I've been really, when he's able to play, when he's healthy, he's really impressive, and he'll be able to spell Davis and Brissy and Rook. So I think that's a huge boost for the defensive tackle room.
Have you ever noticed, and maybe just me, maybe Tyler Davis was just coming off injury or something, but have you noticed that Tyler Davis and Breezy is rarely in at the same time? Is there a reason for that, do you think?
It's really, I think that is I think that is, there's something to that. You're probably right, because it does seem like when Davis is in, it seems like I see more of like Rook with him, or vice versa, and I think it's just kind of a personnel thing. And Rook actually leads the team in sacks right now, which is really interesting. I think he has two. So they definitely like to rotate them in and out a lot. But when Brissy and Davis are on the field at the same time, it is a really tough to deal with. You saw on Wake Forest last drive before the end of the fourth quarter, when they were trying to work it down the field and maybe get a last second field goal, and they got that. Davis and Brissy just absolutely worked their guards. And I think Tyler Davis was the one that ended up with the sack, but it was that was a huge play. It set Wake Forest back, and it forced them to play conservative and punt the ball. And that was in a play where there weren't a lot of positives for the Clemson defense. That was huge. So
I saw somebody mention Mascot has been killing it at defense end. I kind of disagree with the person. I think John said it, and he's more than welcome to disagree with me. But he I don't ever see him on the field outside like towards the end of the game. I really have been kind of disappointed in him, somewhat. But I mean, our defensive ends was a shroom coming into the season, but I really haven't seen a lot out of Moscow, in my opinion. I don't know about y'all.
Well, maybe it's because of the ends didn't play particularly well last game, but I think they've been fine. Obviously I think KJ is having a great year right now, but I do think that this group still needs XT back. I think he's the alpha dog in that room, and he's the disruptor. He's the one that makes stuff happen on that side. Miles Murphy has continued to be solid. He got called out for loafing, but I think he's played a lot better the past couple of weeks. So the ends haven't been. I don't know. The ends haven't been the strength of this defensive line, but I think they've been good overall. Okay. I haven't seen I don't know anything I'd be concerned about but obviously I think the defensive tackle room is what's really impressive. Just because of the depth there. Everybody knows about Tyler Davis and Brian Brzee, but Rook and Trey Williams when he's healthy, and Peyton Page has looked great when he's been in. You've seen a little bit of Devontae Capehart. He's looked good when he's in. So I still am very confident in this Clemson defensive line as a whole, and I think you're going to see a really strong performance tomorrow.
Welcome back.
Hey guys, I'm back. What's up? How y'all been?
Very good.
We're good.
I had my power flicker, and then my Wi-Fi went out for a little bit. So apologize to you guys. Apologize to the fans. But thank you guys for cruising right along. I don't know what we've got into, so fill me in. What you got for me?
Talking about the defense. Well, we were kind of getting into the defensive line against NC State's offense and how we weren't really that impressed with them, but and we just how the two units match up and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. So my opinion of it, I think the defensive line has been underwhelming this year. They came in, they got compared to a lot of big name defensive linemen that have come through Clemson. They got compared to some of the great Clemson defensive lines, 2014, 2018. You can name who you want individually, but I think they got named within the highest that you can of the Clemson defensive line, right? So with that, I think comes a certain level of responsibility. And I don't think they've lived up to the billing, especially last week when I look at the DBs getting burned as much as they did. I think some of that could have been aided with some more pressure by the defensive line. And I know Dabo's called them out earlier in the season, and I think they have improved. I'm not saying they haven't. I'm not saying we have a terrible defensive line at all. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I think they could be better, right? I think they're just getting into it. And part of it is they haven't been all on the field together at the same time, to DeAndre's point, right? You don't see Tyler Davis and Brian Brzee on the field at the same time. We don't have XT in the game, right? We have been dealing with a lot of injuries, both on the back end and some on the defensive line. The defensive line hasn't been completely healthy, and some of it's been, personal issues. We all know the Brian Brzee situation, and none of us look, that's completely understandable. Nobody's trying to say that he shouldn't have done what he done. I would have done the exact same thing, right? But I don't think we've had have we had a single game in the past 4 weeks where our defense has been whole? I don't think so.
No.
So I'm going to hold out hope as a Clemson fan, as a homer, call me what you will, whatever the case may be. I'm going to hold out hope that this defense is good as advertised in the front seven. I know our back end has issues, but with that said, we've also been missing dudes. So I think if we come back mostly whole this week, I think we can have a dominant performance on defense. I really think we can. And I think they feel the pressure from last week. Look, those DBs saw it on tape. Look, they know they looked bad. They know they were the reason that game was in question. The DBs know. Come on. This is Division I college football. The DB coaches know. The DBs who were out there know. You could see it on their faces during the game. They knew that it was because of them that game was in question. And if you don't think they're going to respond, I definitely think they're going to respond. I think that we get a few more pieces back this week, which will be important for the Clemson defense, especially on the front end. I don't know if we get XT back. He put out kind of that what was that tweet that he put out?
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, yeah.
Kind of week to week. I'll be back when I'll be back. I think he was feeding into Dabo Swinney's kind of cryptic messaging that he's been putting out this week against North Carolina State. He's been really cryptic about who's going to be back this week, both on the back end and with XT on the defensive line. I think XT plays this week. That's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. He might not play this week, but I think XT plays this week. I think we get most of our dudes back healthy this week, and I think it's a I think it's a lights out defensive performance. I
hope you're right about XT, man.
I really want to see him on the field. Have you seen this dude? Like the shape that he's in right now?
Yeah.
Like, have you seen pictures of this dude? Like working, like, I mean, he looks like he's in the greatest shape since he's been at Clemson. And I'm excited to see what he can bring. And I know he's hungry. I know he wants to improve his draft stock in the NFL. And like, I'm just rooting for the dude because he's faced so much adversity in his career and he's kept his head down. And I think he got really down at a certain point in his career, but I think he's rebounded from that. And I'm just rooting for the dude, man. Like, he's been through a lot, and I just really want him to have an epic season to close out his Clemson career. You know,
absolutely. He's he's fun when he's in, like, he showed some of that last year. How much progress he's made from a physical standpoint, from a mental standpoint. He's worked his butt off this off season. So he definitely deserves the opportunity. And I
really hope he plays this week.
If he comes out on the field tomorrow, I might be the loudest person in the stadium because
shoot me a text if he comes out.
Oh yeah, I'll be sure to let you know, give you the insight. XT's warming up right now.
Yeah, just shoot me a text so I don't have to hear it from the TV announcers. You know, just lower my blood pressure before that has to happen.
But and then I guess in talking about the back end, we talked about those guys a little bit earlier, but Sheridan Jones and Malcolm Green and Andrew Makuba, getting those guys back would be great. I was telling DeAndre, I said, Dabo's been playing his cards close to his chest this week, and as far as press conferences, and when they asked him about the injury situation, so he didn't guarantee anybody was going to be back. I said I think we get at least a couple of those guys back.
He's been playing really close to his chest. He's been kind of non-answering when it comes to. He said, "Hey, we'll see. We'll put a depth chart out, next week." He's kind of playing his cards close, which I like. I mean, it's all a game in college football, right? You don't have to release the injury report in college football, so they're not going to. I mean, that's just where we're at in college football.
Let me ask y'all, do y'all think NC State's running game scares y'all this year? Last year they had two running backs that were pretty good, but I don't think they did anything against Clemson last year. But that current running back, at least in one rush, I ain't going to try to say his name. He has 39 attempts, 250.
Yeah, they just call him Demi Sumo. They don't say his whole name.
Denny Sumo.
Demi Sumo. It's a hyphenated name, but they just call him Demi Sumo. He's been solid this year.
Well, he has 4 games. He has 252 yards on rushing, so that's 63 yards per game, and he's averaging 6.5 yards a attempt. So, and that's against College of Charleston and Connecticut. East Carolina, whose defense is pretty good, and Texas Tech. And then I don't know how good Texas Tech is. I know they beat Texas this week, but I don't have a sense of their running back. I don't have a sense of their offense. When they came into the season, Seal Field ranked them the fourth best quarterback, 9th best running back, 8th best receiver, and 3rd best offensive line. So when I was talking to Mark one time about NC State, why is everybody picking that game to win? I said they lost a whole lot of people, especially if you lose a left tackle that's pretty good. Top 10 pick. For Carolina, I don't know how he's performing at Carolina, but you lose your top 2 running backs, your top receiver. So how good are you? On offense. So like I said, I'm real curious about this game. I know the over is 43. With this weather, I wouldn't even dream about taking that point. In fact, I think it dropped down to 39. So I'm really concerned about I'm not concerned about NC State offense, but I don't really see NC State offense being a threat. If DJ and the offense take care of the ball, I really think that we have a chance maybe to cover that 7 points.
Yeah.
And yeah, you mentioned the guys that they lost. I mean, obviously NC State's one of the most experienced teams in the conference, but the guys you mentioned, like Ike Ekwonu, the left tackle, and Emeka Nezi, and the two Bam Knight and Ricky Person, like those, those were impact guys, and I think that could be I think that's kind of hurting this NC State offense right now. They don't really have an impact guy, and they're also their best tight end, Trent Penix, is hurt. He's been out with injury, and he won't play in this game. So I think those are some key losses on the offensive side of the ball. And Devin Leary hasn't really found the chemistry with those receivers that you think they would have had. And their running back room I think is good, but it remains to be seen. And I'm not, as far as run blocking is concerned, I'm not really high on this NC State, run game. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how they match up with Clemson here. There's nothing that scares me
No, not at all.
Outside of just we know Devin Leary's capable. He's talented, and when he's playing well, he can really do some damage. But just the weapons that he's throwing to the players he's handing, I think they're solid, good players. But there's no one player that you really have to key in on, because they'll burn you. And I think that's to Clemson's benefit on that side of the ball. And,
I think they've kind of underperformed this year as well, right? Coming into all the hype that NC State came into this year with Devin Leary and their passing attack, and kind of some of the stuff, some of the press clippings that you heard coming into this year. I think ACC Network did kind of like a whole behind-the-scenes series on North Carolina State. They were really hyped up coming into this year, and through the first few games, they really under-delivered. Now, last week, they kind of had a breakthrough on offense. They did well. They performed adequately, albeit against UConn, right? So it's yet to be seen. I think that I'm not super worried about their running game. To your question, DeAndre, I think we have the front to deal with pretty much most, if not any, running games in the country this year, with enough time to prepare. I think our defensive line, I think our linebackers are the most athletic that we've probably ever had at Clemson. They're fast, they're athletic, they can cover, they can play down on the run. We have a bunch of versatile guys in safety positions that we can kind of move around. They can cover, they can help down on the run. So I think we have some pieces, but I think our defense needs to get healthy. We need to have a week where we have most of our guys back, and that's really what I'm looking forward to this week. I think this is our healthiest week so far.
How y'all like how they using Brett Carter compared to where they use Simpson when he was there at Clemson? Because you don't see him moving like to the back.
I don't think he's moving as much as Isaiah Simmons, but I think Barrett Carter has probably. I mean, he's played great, in my opinion. Barrett Carter's been really good in our defense this year. He's been some of the reasons that, more points hasn't been scored on us this season. I think Barrett Carter is an absolute animal on the defensive end. And I'll let Jordan talk about it more, but I think he might be the best player on the defense so far this season. I don't know. Somebody else can maybe have a different opinion, but somebody else may can have a different opinion. You can tell me what you think, Jordan Bowman, but what do you think about Barrett Carter's season so far?
Well, I mean, I think he's looked great when he's out there. I think is he the best player on the defense? I mean, there's arguments to be made there. He's been great just from his coverage skills. He's been a really sound tackler, which is great because not all when you have a bunch of athletic linebackers and they're not necessarily as physically imposing. Always is the concern is, well, can they are they as physical stopping the run and making tackles, and that hasn't been a problem so far. And obviously the thing that jumps out about Barrett Carter is just his athleticism, and he plays with that fire that you want. He's a really intense. Is always trying to he always finishes his tackles, and he's physical with it, and makes a lot of contact. He's not scared of contact. So he's definitely been one of the the bright spot. Well, I don't even want to say bright spots, like the defense has been bad, but he's definitely been one of the better players on the team. I think he's second on the team in tackling. Someone can fact check me on that. I think maybe Simpson is first, but the linebackers, they've been showing out, and they are. And Barrett Carter is just he's great, and it's crazy that Clemson gets him for another year. So that's really exciting.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah. So
I think
one thing I was about to say about the reason why I brought up the run game, because if we could stop the run with our front seven, I think we could fade back and help our young corners out. And like I said, Phillips, he made a mistake and came up on that first Wake Forest touchdown. And just that kind of hurt us. But I think we should have faded back a little bit and play that cover 2 and just stop. And we could stop the front seven. Wake Forest offense, let's be honest, it's kind of unique, with them holding the ball so long. NC State plays more of a traditional offense. They don't do all of that. So the matchup might be a little bit better where we can play that cover 2, and they don't have to worry about playing the fake or the play action, because he rides there for a long time. And like I was telling Jordan, I hope we don't blitz as much as we did, because think about how many times what's my boy son that went out to Oklahoma, Venables. Son blitzed and missed. And people say, well, we should have got there. Sometimes I think he would have thrown to a spot and telling him to go get it. And I think that's what he did. Yeah. Throw it up in the air and say, well, they gonna pass interfere anyway. So that's what I think he did a lot.
Yep. And I guess the biggest thing was and honestly, I think early in the game, you're right that I wish we wouldn't blitz so much, but I think and Dave Clawson talked about it in the game. Clemson didn't defend Wake Forest any differently than they had in years past. They still lined up in that bear front and that's kind of how they do it. And it's a run defense, but when they Sam Hartman pulls the ball, obviously the Clemson defensive line is so good that they get there before he can throw it. And I think Wake's offensive line did a much better job protecting Hartman in this game, and I think that was the difference. I think my biggest problem was how slow they were, to adjust. I didn't have a problem with them, blitzing initially, but when you keep getting burned over and over and over again, and you realize your corners are not up to the challenge of defending those guys in man to man, why did it take so long to switch to zone? And so when you have the dudes that you have on this defensive line, why are you sending 5 or 6 guys? Get pressure forward.
It shouldn't take 5 or 6, right?
Yeah, and show, and obviously this Clemson's defense has always been very multiple as far as their front versatility. They do, they'll go into odd fronts, and they'll do the 3-2, 3-3-5, 3-2-6, whatever it is, whatever you want. They do a lot of that stuff, but. So, I wish this team would show a little bit more, wouldn't be so stubborn. I wish Wes Goodwin wouldn't be so stubborn and as far as what he's playing. I mean, it's fine to send, only 3 or 4 guys at a time when you have, the talent and depth that you have at defensive line. So I think you'll see Clemson. I hope they learned their lesson. There's still room for those blitzes every once in a while, and you still want to send those guys, but just not doing it so frequently and just letting your front work more.
Yeah, I was looking at the comparison between their top receiver and our top receiver. So their top receiver has 15 catches for 217 yards. Our top receiver, who's Collins is 13 receptions for 218 yards. Our top running back has 52 carries for 353 yards, which is shifted with 7 touchdowns. So I mean, I guess it's about even because their yards per game is 411, ours is 405. And the passing game, we're 20 yards better. In a running game, we're about 25 yards better. But like I said, if you look at, we played Georgia Tech and Wake Forest. I mean, Georgia Tech is they just fired their head coach, so I mean, even going back to that Georgia Tech game, people was critical of them, but I think that was just a great play design that Georgia Tech had, and our people was put in a bad position by the play design, and threw it to a 6-7 wide receiver. So, but I think we did good, man. But I saw something else interesting in Phil Seals' book, and this is crazy to me. Miami, Virginia, and Louisville had the top 3 receivers, quarterbacks coming into the season. Clemson had the 8th, so I wonder how he would re-rank them. NC State had the 4th top receiver quarterback coming into the season. So I wonder how he will re-rank them if we were looking at it right now. Because I think DJ is by far the best. And I'm not trying to be funny, but if DJ keeps the season up going like this, I think he's going to be out after this year.
Well, yeah. I think you're right. If you were to reevaluate, you can look at a lot of people's, top QBs in the ACC, list prior to the season, and DJ, unanimously would have been in the bottom half.
Yeah, he wasn't on any of them.
Yeah. So
Boston College quarterback, I know their offensive line's been terrible, but he was pretty high.
Yeah, Djokovic.
Yeah, Djokovic. That was somebody I was impressed with. I thought they were going to have a better season. But like I said, the offensive line
look terrible, man.
Yeah.
But you got to have. I would put right now, if we're looking at quarterbacks, and I put DJ top 5 in the ACC. From a statistics, statistical standpoint, there's not really many. I'd put Hartman has had, obviously you got to put Hartman there, just especially after the performance he had. Right. Jordan Travis at Florida State has looked great. That's another guy that not a lot of people had super duper high prior to the season that has, really
Drake May
come along.
Drake
May definitely at North Carolina. But really, other than that, I wouldn't put Devin, based on their play through. I mean, some people probably still have Leary over DJ, but
not this season. But
that's what I'm saying.
If you look at this season in a vacuum, there's no way you have a Devin Leary over. Over
DJ's
DJ.
Look better, right?
I mean, it's just plain simple. He's looked better. He's played better. He's had better performances. That's yet to be seen on Friday or on Saturday. Tomorrow at 7:30 when the ball's kicked off, we'll see. But at the end of the day, I think people got to start giving DJ some respect. Look, DJ went through a lot. Okay, he came in as a 5-star recruit. He came in to replace Trevor Lawrence, quite possibly the greatest college football prospect according to whoever to ever play college football, right? And if you some people disagree, some people agree. But if you take that as true, then look, it's hard to follow that guy up, right? Yeah. So at the end of the day, last year was underwhelming. Nobody's going to give DJ excuses for last year, including me. I was super critical of DJ last year. I was super critical of DJ in the Georgia Tech game, especially the first half. But after the first half of the Georgia Tech game, into the second half, into the rest of these games, he has improved. You have to take that into account. DJ, albeit everybody's like, oh, well, it's against Wake Forest. They ain't got no defense. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see this year. We'll see, or not this year. We'll see this game. We'll see against the vaunted North Carolina State defense, right? We'll see. Yeah. And that's the key. That's what I want to see. I want to see DJ keep progressing throughout the year like he's done since game 1. And if he keeps doing that, then I don't see what the problem is. And he's definitely a top quarterback in the ACC if he keeps doing that. look, you shouldn't play your best game week 1. And if you do, you're probably not the best player in the conference. Right? I mean, and you shouldn't be looked at as such. So Clemson is getting better. They have gotten better every game this season. So is DJ. So has the receivers. So has the offensive line. The defense has struggled, but I think that is more so.
It's fixable. Like,
it's fixable. It's fixable. Look, there's no excuses. Look, everybody deals with injuries, and Clemson's dealt with quite a bit on the defensive side of the ball. I think that has something to do with it. I think, possibly some scheme has something to do with Clemson's defensive shortfalls so far this season, but I think it's all fixable. And I think as a Clemson fan going into this game, I'm pretty confident. I'm not saying we're going to blow out North Carolina State. I'm not saying anything crazy, so don't get me wrong, but I do feel confident going into this game that DJ is coming in at his peak confidence since he's ever donned a Clemson uniform. DJ's confidence right now is higher than it's ever been in a Clemson uniform, and I don't think that can be understated. I really don't think that can be understated. Confidence in a quarterback is key. Look, that ball's going to come out better. The passers are going to be better. The people around him are going to feel more confident. Therefore, they're going to catch the ball. They're going to run the ball better. They're going to block better. I think when you exude confidence as a quarterback, especially a big-time college football D1 quarterback, I think it bleeds into the rest of the team, right? And I think that's what DJ's doing right now. We have a lot of the same receivers as last year. Yeah. What's the difference? It's confidence. Confidence is the difference this year. And that's kind of been the key. And it's kind of been building throughout these past 4 games. And I look for it to keep building.
Well, I know you said we had the same receivers as last year, but really they are kind of different because you don't have Ross playing the slot. Because you're a shifty guy. You got some freshmen with some speed. We have not had a lot of, like I said, if we look at when we were dominating with Tavis Scott and Ray McLeod, we had those type of receivers that we didn't have before. Look at Spector, and I'm not saying call Spector or the other guy Winfro, but look how they move. They move with that shiftiness. They move with a physical attack. You could spread that jet speed. All you had to do is hit Ross to the knees on that jet speed. Jet speed, you knock them down. You don't have that this year. You have guys that are low to the ground that are fast and shifty that can get in and out of breaks. So yeah, their thing is a little bit different. We also give the tight ends the ball a little bit better. Like I think saw somebody say 6'6". Yeah, Allen and Bristow. That's what we needed to do last year. And like I said, if you look at the 3-3-5 defense, go back to Georgia State, Georgia Tech, NC State, some of what Georgia did, and go look at Iowa State, those games that we had trouble with, this is where we get to see what Clemson has made their changes on their offense. Can you attack the 3-3-5 defense? Can you beat the 3-3-5 defense that gave us so much trouble last year? Can you finally do that this year? And that killed us. Georgia Tech didn't do it a lot the first game of the year, but go back and look at some of those games before this game. 3-3-5 defense has given us trouble. I mean, those teams, we shut them down, but they have that 3-3-5, man, is getting to us. Even go back and look at the Boston College where they ran the 4-2-5. It gives us issues. I don't know why, but it does. So, man, I'm looking forward to this. So I'm excited. I think our defense is going to dominate. I think the weather's going to help us out a little bit because I'm not saying that Neri has a bad arm, but I think he has a great arm, and he's going to be playing in this wind and weather. I think GJ has the arm to cut it loose, and this weather to get them to come down out of that 3 safety look. So I think we're ready. So
yeah, absolutely. I think we're definitely ready. You guys getting any feedback?
No, I ain't getting no feedback.
Okay. But yeah,
what do y'all think about their linebackers? That's NC State's biggest thing. What y'all think about their linebackers?
Look, I think
they're good. They're really good.
Yeah, I think they got some dudes at linebacker.
Yeah.
I think they do. They got some dudes at linebacker. They got some dudes that like to bloody their nose. They got some dudes that like to hit. And I think it will be a factor. How much of? I think that depends on the game. I'm not sure how you guys see this game going. Some people are calling for the upset. North Carolina State's going to pull the upset against Clemson. They're going to end Clemson's massive home streak in Death Valley. I tend to be on the other side of it. Again, call me a homer, call me a whatever. I think Clemson gets the job done. And honestly, if I'm being honest, now I may be proven wrong. And believe me, all the people out there watching right now, I will come on. We will be doing a post-game reaction show immediately following the game on Saturday. And if I'm wrong, I will come in here and eat my crow. But I think Clemson wins by at least 2 touchdowns.
Well, yeah, if we're giving score predictions, I can't go that far. I'm still kind of in. I really hope that happens, and I could see it happening, but I'm not going to say it because I do think NC State's experience. I don't think NC State is going to be intimidated by the moment. As great as an atmosphere as Death Valley is, this NC State team is really, really experienced. They have the confidence knowing that they beat Clemson last year. I think you're going to see NC State. I think they're going to put their best foot forward. I don't think they're going to be. I don't think they're going to be scared, and I think they're going to play well enough that this game is competitive. So I'm going to take. I still think Clemson wins. I'm not going to take them. What the spread is what 6.5 or maybe it's 7.
Yeah.
I'm going to take NC State to cover. I think Clemson wins. I'm going to say the final score, I'm going to take the over too if we're talking about the point total. Because I don't think the weather is going to be as much of a factor as some people think. I'm going to take Clemson 28, NC State 24.
Hey, 28-24, huh? 4-point game.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to go.
All right, Andre, what do you think?
I'll go 31-14.
Ooh.
Only reason why I'm picking that, I don't trust NC State defense. Offense. I really don't think, because if we go look at, I think somebody said it in our earlier game, East Carolina's front dominated NC State's offensive line in that game. So if we go look at East Carolina, which I went to school at, and you compare the Clemson's off defensive line, it's totally different. The Clemson has more depth. So if going off of that, I really can't trust NC State to put up that many points. You remember, I think it was Finley. Finley and a real good NC State team came in there, and we thought it was going to be a close game. This game kind of reminds me of. It's not because I think NC State is a bad team. No. I just don't think. I think because they lost so much that they're not gonna. They barely beat us last year, and like I said, you don't know how injuries gonna affect the game, but it was really close. So they lost their 2 top running backs, they lost their top left tackle, and you lost your And these guys come in here hungry, and after the performance they put up against Wake Forest, their defense is gonna want to come out and prove like, yo, we can play better than that. And I'll be honest with you, who on Wake Forest, who on NC State's receivers scare you to stretch the field like the ones that they had yesterday? And I know NC State, if you're from here, NC State every 4 or 5 years put a team together because that's the way they recruit. They recruit a lot of North Carolina State specifically people, and they wait and develop, and they have a team every 4 or 5 years, and they'll have a week schedule. So it's hard to see how they're tested throughout the year. And a lot of times they'll do duds against Clemson for some reason. I think the year that Kelly was at quarterback, I think that game ended up being 38-24. And Kelly wasn't a very good passer. So, I mean, I really see our offense just expanding and doing a lot of better. I think Spector and the freshman wide receiver that we got played in the slot, I think he's going to open it up to get us quick screens out, and they're going to have to come out at 3 safety look, and we're going to run the ball a little bit better. Now, I bet you, us putting up 2.5 yards, even played better in the run game, I don't think they were happy about that 2.5 yards per carry. I know we put up 188 yards, but I think that's gonna that's how it's gonna be. But hey man, I think Clemson got this game on lock. I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, I really do. I'm gonna stop betting on Clemson because of what happened last week. I'm gonna be like y'all. I think y'all kind of got me with that one. I might put some of the money line straight for them to win, do it a parlay. But hey man, it is what it is. I think we got this game, man, on lock though. I can't wait.
Yeah,
Dorn
so
has hardly middle of the pack. His wins have all.
what's that?
I don't know. Lisa. I was reading what John said.
He was. Oh, yeah. Dorn's ACC record is hardly middle of the pack. His wins. That's true. I think he's like slightly above, like in his NC State career. I think he's like slightly above 500 in conference play.
Yeah, not great in conference play. Not great in conference play. So
yeah,
I will.
Clemson's gonna be bad.
I will go with my thoughts on the final score. I kind of already, I guess, gave my hand away, if you will. Look, I think Clemson's defense gets much healthier this week. First and foremost, in the back end and in the front end, and I think. With that health comes some hunger, comes some fight. I think this is a revenge game from last year. Regardless of what your Clemson players and coaches may say, they had a problem with losing this game last year. There's no love lost between Dave Dorn. There's no love lost between the fan bases. I think that Clemson has had this game circled since preseason. I think this is a revenge game. I think Clemson wins by 2 touchdowns or more, minimum of 2 touchdowns. I know that's a bold prediction. I've seen people in the comments say that's a bold prediction. I got it. But I think Clemson's defense comes out and plays a really good game. I also think DJ comes out and continues to progress, continues to really get the job done on the offensive side of the ball, gain confidence, and build for the future of this offense. That's what I see coming in this game. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll say, let's see, I'll go with a 31-17 game. That's a 2-touchdown game, if I'm not mistaken, if my math is correct in the moment. But I'll go with a 31-17 game. I think Clemson wins this game. And I think this game plays the Clemson. So I think if Clemson has to control the game on the ground, I think we can. But I also think if we have to go to the air, I think DJ's ready. And I think he's fully confident to do that. I have questions about NC State's offense, albeit that our defense has big question marks on the back end. But I don't know if NC State is equipped to expose our issues on the back end right now. I think we still have issues on the back end. I don't think we've solved them since this Wake Forest week. So don't get me wrong, people out there. But I don't think NC State is equipped to expose those issues. That's just my opinion. I think Brian Brzee shows out, Tyler Davis, Miles Murphy, KJ Henry. The list goes on and on for the Clemson defensive side of the ball. And hopefully we see Sheridan Jones and all the rest of the guys back on the back end. But that's my thoughts on the game, guys. What do you guys think?
Well, so I'm kind of surprised. I'm the only person that picked a 1-score win. Hey, we all picked Clemson to win, but you guys picked Clemson by more than 1 score. So I hope that's good. That's good juju for this game. If Clemson comes out, if Clemson wins, 31-17 or something like that, I will take that every single
A
day.
win is a win, no matter what. But
Right.
if you're talking about +7, like they say, Vegas always knows something. That Wake Forest game, we was jumped out to a 14-point lead, and I think somebody was talking about it last week. Like maybe we should have went for it. Instead of kicking a field goal, you put them in 21. I think there was a fumble somewhere that we could have recovered, and maybe that would have held out too. Sometimes that's the way to break. Then they would say, "Hey, let's just throw the ball down the field," because the guys are running wide open, and then the defensive backs had to foul. And let's just put it like this: let's say a Cooper was in the game, no ifs, ands, and buts. But if a Cooper was in the game instead of Phillips, and then they would have gave it that first touchdown to Wake Forest, where they threw it deep, where he was supposed to stay back instead of coming up. Sometimes, man, we got to trust it on our defensive line and say, hey, go get it, and we're going to help the secondary. Because we all knew coming into the season that the secondary was probably going to have a major issue. I mean, you just lost Booth, who was one of the best.
That was the secondary was a question mark coming into the season.
Right.
So that was a big
the linebacker going to be better. Yeah, we all knew the linebackers were going to be better. We knew that everything pretty much working out like what we thought. We get past this game. I know we got Florida State and Boston College, but it's pretty going to be the way people are looking right now. It's pretty much going to be smooth sailing. This is the game that everybody been looking for. Outside that Notre Dame game, it's the game everybody been looking for.
Right.
Notre Dame ain't shaping up to look like what it's going to be. And Florida State is much improved, but this is a game they're going to say, okay, how close is the season going to shake out? Florida State looks much better, but this is a game right here. And I know Dabo probably circled it on their calendar too. It's like, we want these guys right here for all the jump. They talk when we were in there. Think about what happened to Notre Dame.
Yep.
They beat us by luck because everybody had COVID. They said that, we beat Clemson. To at the end of the year, Clemson goes up there. We're going to
breaks off of them.
Yeah, and I think that's what you're going to see tomorrow. I mean,
all right. Big Mac gets into the comments, says, "Trust me, bro. Dabo will come out with a different playbook for North Carolina State." You guys agree with that? I don't know.
Different playbook? No, I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying.
Maybe some wrinkles. Yeah.
Maybe
some wrinkles.
And I agree. And I think you're going to need to, because this is the best defense Clemson has played up to this point. It might be the best.
I'm sure there's stuff in Clemson's playbook that they haven't showed yet that will be showed this weekend.
Yeah.
You remember? I think it was like 2 years ago. It was Miami that came in. They had two defensive ends that went in the first round, and Clemson came out with Amari Rogers and Cornell Powell, and they went to like a quick pitch game, like get the ball out, don't hold it, Lawrence Powell, and they just kept wearing those defense ends out. I think that's what you're going to see, because those secondary players are going to play off that this game right here. Like I said, the way we had freshmen playing last year, we had Ross playing with one arm, and they barely beat us last year. I really think NC State was overrated coming in to the year. I said that in the beginning. Got like, Dad, they lost a lot of people. Now they brought those guys back. I think it'll probably be a better game, but I really don't think it's going to be close. I did say that against Wake Forest, but
if they were that good, they would have been in the ACC championship last year.
Right.
Yeah. Hunter Gofro gets in and says, look for Shipley to be heavily utilized too.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
He will.
He better be.
He always is. Yeah.
He better be. If not, then he got hurt, and God forbid that happens. SEC Dog gets in and said, I'm a Georgia fan, and I hope y'all find a way from here on out. Be fun to play y'all in the playoffs if we both make it.
That'd be great.
Hey, we'll see you there.
Maybe get some redemption for last year.
Yeah. We'll see you there, SEC Dog. We'll see you there. Hopefully, if everything works out for us.
Yeah. Still got a ways to go.
Absolutely. John Sarah gets in, says, please don't ask Shipley to throw the ball again. Don't need those kinds of wrinkles.
I remember that little jump pass he threw against Wake Forest last year. I think it was to Davis Allen. Was wobbly, didn't look pretty, but it worked. But yeah, hopefully we don't have him doing any crazy stuff.
Absolutely. Hopefully.
I
don't look. Clearly, my prediction doesn't call for any sort of wrinkles like that. So it better not. Yeah. If not, I'm gonna be over here having a heart attack, and I may or may.
They have it in the playbook though. They have it sitting there.
They're there, but God forbid we have to pull those out right now.
I wish we could have. I know they said that they initially created the play for ETN and they never got to use it. So it makes me sad. I wanted to see.
Oh man,
it would have been great if Travis Etienne, as many touchdowns as he put up in his Clemson career, it would have been great to see him get a passing touchdown. But
that would have been epic, dude.
Yeah.
SEC Dog gets back in and says Clemson belongs in the SEC. Y'all need to come over, in my opinion. More rivals here than that pitiful ACC conference y'all play in.
Clemson didn't say where they at.
I don't know. I'm not going to go to bat for the ACC or anything, but I certainly think the ACC is a lot better this year than they've been in previous years, especially the Atlantic.
I'm not.
You could argue like the 4 or 5 best teams in the conference are all in the same division.
Yeah, I'm not. You won't ever catch me fighting for the ACC. Look,
right.
I'm a Clemson fan first and foremost. And what you got, DeAndre?
Yeah, that Clemson. I was debating this with Mark, and we all. I don't think that Clemson belongs in the SEC. I mean, if we were back in the 50s or 40s, I could see the argument. But they have been in the ACC so long, because all of them used to be in the Southern Conference together, a long time ago. But they don't belong in the SEC. And I'll say this: a lot of people think they should leave and go to another conference because of the money. But look at all these teams that get a lot of money. South Carolina has more money than Clemson, and they haven't been as successful as Clemson has. I mean, they haven't been as successful as Wake Forest has. So Wake Forest has this many ACC championships as they do. I mean, Miami. I'm just saying this.
I get the argument though. I get the argument though that what would Clemson do with even more money? I do get that argument. So,
and I mean, like I said, you can look at the top 25 teams. Talk about money wise. Texas A&M doesn't have as much success as Clemson has since integration. So I mean, I don't really think that money has a lot to do with it. It's about how you look at Kansas now. Kansas, I'm not saying they're a powerhouse, but all of a sudden you get the right person there and they're winning. I mean, I just think about getting the right person. Maryland, per square mileage, has more NFL players than anybody. What has Maryland done since they went to the Big Ten? They made more money than everybody. Maryland and Rutgers and a lot of other schools. So I don't think going to the SEC helps Clemson. I think it's not, like Dabo said, it's not a job to make the ACC look good, job to make Clemson look good. But I do think Georgia and Clemson need to go back to the 70s and 80s where they play every year, but they also make it for a boring schedule. I think Clemson does a very good job of, I know they had to play Notre Dame every so often, but then we got LSU coming up next couple of years. And Georgia.
I mean, if we put Georgia on the schedule, then it would just be Georgia and South Carolina for the non-con schedule.
Well, I'm on that,
I would love to play Georgia every year, but it's just not conducive to our current schedule. I love the rivalry, but put Williams at kickoffs and punt returns.
Maybe not both. One or the other. I don't want him returning too many. He's definitely a threat back there, and it would be great to see to finally get a return for a touchdown one of these games. But I don't want him back there all the time. I don't want him to be like the primary guy. I think kind of like how Clemson used him in Wake Forest when they were pooch kicking it and all that, and they snuck him out there. I mean, you don't have to use him exactly like that, but have him. You can put him back there every once in a while. But I think his impact is most definitely felt on offense, and don't want him taking too many hits like that. And
yeah, no, definitely not. I think he is a starter on our receiving core right now. Yeah. I think we need him, and I think we have other options for kick and punt return.
It was different when we had Ray because he wasn't the primary slot guy. You had Artavis Scott in there, and it was
absolutely
you had a little bit more versatility there.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like putting him back there on those big collision plays. There's big instances for injury on those kind of plays. So I don't necessarily like that, but I get it from an explosive standpoint. I think he could absolutely help us there, but I think he's more helpful in the offense. So I'd rather just keep him there. So before we get out of here tonight, fellas, let's recap, kind of the show tonight. We talked about the weather. We talked about Clemson. We talked about North Carolina State. We talked about all sorts of stuff that could impact this game. But first and foremost, I look for the fans. I will end it with the fans to impact this game. I look for a raucous crowd, in Death Valley on Saturday night at 7:30 with the lights and the new video scoreboard and the Tigers running down the hill. It's going to be freaking electric. I can't wait to watch it on TV. Jordan Bowman, you're going to be there in person. So tell us how excited you are to be in person to witness this epic matchup against Clemson and North Carolina State, man.
It's huge, man. This is going to be the first game I've been to this year, so we're really excited. In the first game I've been to since I was at the Florida State game last year, so I'm really excited. It's going to be a great environment. NC State fans, they travel really well, so it's going to be really fun. Tailgating with them and kind of jawing back and forth. That's always a fun time. So
absolutely.
And yeah, I'm just really excited. I know that the game is going to be absolutely crazy. The crowd is going to be really into it. The fan base definitely hasn't forgotten what happened last year. There's no love lost between the two schools. I can't wait to see the Dave Doran signs on game day tomorrow.
On game day. It's going to be epic, dude.
Yeah.
It's going to be epic. I'll be up early in the morning waiting for it.
Yeah. I think it's on. They'll be hosting game day on Bowman Field. So shout out to my field.
Hey, shout out Bowman Field.
Yeah, I love Bowman though. I used to play. I would sometimes play ultimate frisbee on there sometimes. So, but yeah, it's gonna be a really fun time. I'm really excited, and yeah, I'll be sure to when we do the I guess I won't be there for the post game unless I can tune in on my phone. I might try. I'll be able to recap, everything.
Hey, absolutely.
Next week.
If you could tune in, absolutely try. We'll bring you in. You don't have to stay long, but you can come in if you get enough signal on your phone. By all means,
if I can't get in, I'll type in the comments. I'll go on the stream and type in the comments. But
there you go. We appreciate it.
By the way,
let us know what the atmosphere was like in Death Valley. Like I said, I'm excited to watch it on TV. I can't freaking wait, dude. Like, I've been waiting for this game since last year when North Carolina State beat us, to be completely honest. This is a big rivalry. Like you said, there's no love lost between fan bases. I live up here amongst some NC State fans. I saw one out at Walmart today. We already started talking trash to each other. Friendly trash, okay?
Yeah.
I didn't get in a fight with Walmart. Look, you ain't going to see me on TikTok. All right? Chill out, people.
Walmart's a perfect place to fight, though.
Hey, people of Walmart, right? We've all seen the videos. But I wasn't trying to get into that. I saw an NC State fan We exchanged a little friendly trash talk, and it was a good time.
Walmart and Waffle House, those are great fight venues. Something about the W places.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, DeAndre, what you got, brother?
Hey man, for y'all that don't know about this rivalry, it's a great rivalry. I grew up here, and I'll be honest with you, NC State is the third loved college in North Carolina. I mean, North Carolina and Duke is bigger, but NC State has always represented well in football in this area. So this is going to be a great game. I mean, you go back to Deshaun Watson year where they missed the field goal. You go back to a lot of games. Phillip Rivers, a lot of great players to play in this game. Eric Kramer. Could you imagine? Like, look at NC State football history compared to Ohio State. Ohio State is a much better program, but you could name more famous quarterbacks that came out of NC State than you can Ohio State. And think about that.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, you can name Phillip Rivers, Eric Kerman, Russell Wilson, Glennon. There's so many that came out of this rivalry that you didn't. Great players, man. I mean, think about Terry Holt, Mario Williams, just on the NC State file. A lot of people don't really get a chance to talk about Clemson NC State because everybody considers this a basketball conference, but that rivalry has been really good. And it's underrated. There's like people tell me about Ole Miss and LSU. I didn't notice that how nasty that rivalry really is. And in the same boat because they're both very similar schools. Both of them are considered to be farm schools, even if NC State's in Raleigh, which I could never understand how you're a farm school and you're in a major city. But NC State's the second largest campus in America, and that's Ohio State. So I think we're gonna beat NC State pretty good. But
go back. Yeah, we're gonna beat NC State. Come on now.
I said we're gonna beat them pretty good.
Yeah, by 14 points, like I said.
Yeah, 14, 17. As long as we win, I don't care.
I ain't gonna join y'all on that one.
Hey, come on, Jordan. Come with us. Come, drink the Kool-Aid.
I can't, and I love Kool-Aid, man. But you're not gonna get me. You're not gonna get me on this one. I gotta see it first.
I'll take all the hate on these shoulders.
I got you.
You know what? You know what? I ain't gonna join you on the prediction. You're wrong. I will join you, and I will take. I'm sharing the pain and the blame, whatever it is.
I love it.
We'll all get roasted together. So
SEC Dog gets in and says, no one cares about that game down here. Arkansas will beat or will upset Bama. Y'all heard it here first.
Hey,
I can see that.
You sure about that? Okay. And he
I like
says,
to join SC Dog. I like his show, man. I go watch it every now and then.
Yeah,
hey, man,
he's got a good
He got a great show. I like him, man. We done talked for a little time.
He said there's at least 15 games more interesting than Clemson versus NC State tomorrow. It just means less. Hey, good trash talk, SEC Dog. I like it. Good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff. I'll agree with your next comment. Ohio State is overrated. I can't stand Ohio State either. That's the fan base.
That's what Ohio State, all Big Ten school outside of Penn State, I have a hate for.
Yeah, I can't stand them either.
Honestly, the only Big Ten school I have animosity toward is Ohio State. So we're like complete opposite.
I can't stand Ohio State.
Ohio State, Michigan.
I don't really care about
the rest. Michigan has one of the most overrated histories in college football. Most of their championships became before people started playing college football. I mean, they got like 20 championships before 1900. Man, what kind of BS is that?
Oh,
that's not right, DeAndre. They gonna come after you.
They're gonna,
I tell them all the time. Michigan,
come get you,
man. I tell a lot. Like Miami's another one. Overrated history. I can't stand talk. I mean, you got voted. How Auburn didn't win the national championship in 1984, and they beat 7 ranked teams and beat the team that beat you. I like that's stupid.
I feel you.
Overrated history. Man, I'll go all day on that. Well, that's Mark. Y'all be sitting like, what is he talking about? Let me go research it. No, he's telling the truth. Overrated history, man. I'll tell him the truth. But all right, gentlemen, y'all have a great night. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
All right, DeAndre. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow, brother.
Catch you later, DeAndre.
All right, everybody in the chat. We got 27 people watching right now, Jordan. We got 27 people watching. So me and Jordan will hang out for a couple minutes, if that's okay with you, Jordan. I know I just
all good with me.
But if you guys got any questions, if you guys got any comments, me and Jordan here will be here for the next couple minutes to listen to your comments, to respond to your comments. If you got anything you want to get in, go ahead and get it in. We will respond. But while we're waiting on comments, Jordan, bro, where are you going to be sitting in the stadium tomorrow?
Oh, top deck.
Top deck. What?
Yeah.
You ain't be on the hill?
Nah. Wasn't able to, because the student ticket market is absolutely insane. And plus, I have a friend that's coming down, and wanted to be able to sit with him. So we purchased them together.
Yeah, I guess I don't really know how the student ticket market works. So
it's nuts. There's a whole like group chat, group me, Clemson group me, like ticket group me, and a bunch of people posting stuff. But I was like, so I could have gotten a better seat, but it was I wanted to be able to sit with my friend that was coming. So
I feel you.
But still going to be fun.
Hey, absolutely.
There's not honestly. I've sat everywhere from the hill to the upper deck to just. I've been I've been pretty much everywhere in that stadium. There's not a bad seat in the house. You can see everything. So
absolutely,
it's I'm really excited. It's going to be really fun. And honestly, it's probably I think this is the only. This is the only top 10 matchup since I've been a student.
Yeah.
Because we haven't had a top 10 team at Death Valley since Louisville 2016.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh no, the Miami game. Technically, the Miami game was the last one.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I didn't go to that one.
It wasn't a good game. So
yeah. So. But yeah, and honestly, I'm more. I think this is going to be way more competitive than that Miami game was. So, and I think the matchup, that Miami team wasn't really as good as their ranking. I think, I'm not even sure this NC State team is a top 10 team, but they're certainly like worthy of conversation and all that. So, I'm going to be really excited. I'll be sure to let you guys know how it went. Whether it's a win or a loss.
Hey, man, look, I think it's going to be a great game. Again, my opinion, it's going to be a great Clemson win. It's going to be a big Clemson win. I think Clemson is due. I think Clemson's defense is due. I think DJ is ready to have, kind of his game in Death Valley, if you will. I would love for this to be his game in Death Valley. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had a great game last weekend, but like this could be like his game in Death Valley. Hopefully the defensive backs hold up. Hopefully we're much healthier coming into the game tomorrow. And if we are healthier on defense, and if the defense comes with the fire that I think they will, I think Clemson has a good day tomorrow. I think there'll be a lot of screaming and yelling in the stands in the good way. Hopefully for you. We'll see.
I'm with you, man. I'm really excited. Yeah, and this is a great chance for DJ to get redemption. I think he was under 50%. I think he only threw for 100-something yards, 100 like low 100s. Passing yards last year under 50%. I think
it was rough.
Yeah, was not a good game.
No.
So getting that redemption is going to be huge.
But it still took dang near a miracle for North Carolina State.
That's true. They outgained us by like 170 yards. And
they completely outplayed us in the game.
Yeah,
and they still almost lost.
Yeah, they dominated it. They had the ball. I think they had the ball for over 40 minutes of game time. It was like, I think in regulation it was like 42-18 or something like that. Time of possession.
Could you imagine being on that defense, dude?
Yeah, I mean that's the game Brian Brzee tore his ACL. So it's like
what
I'm
do you
so
want
glad
me to
the
do,
offense
bro?
I'm glad the
I'm
offense
trying here.
Yeah. So it'll be definitely don't expect to see the defense on the field for 40 plus minutes of regulation.
I think the defense plays better tomorrow, including the DBs. I know Bobby gets in and says, how will the DBs do tomorrow? Hopefully better than last week.
Hard not to do better. Yeah, it's hard not to do better than last week.
At the end of the day, could they do worse? I mean, maybe, but hopefully not.
I hope not.
If they can, I don't want to watch that football game.
Yeah.
If there can be a worse DB performance by Clemson, I don't want to watch that game.
Yeah. If the DB somehow play worse in this game, this team has some issues. Has issues. This is not a good team. Very good. Yeah.
This defense is completely overrated.
And then
the same performance.
And we're going to be looking at the defensive coaching staff really, really differently. But yeah, I think they're gonna play really well. Or at least significantly better than last week. It's not going to be enough to cost Clemson the game.
All right. Kinsey Davis gets in and says, "Hi, everyone. My question is, do you all think we should jump Michigan if Clemson wins tomorrow?"
I mean, based on how they vote and all that, and based on where NC State's ranked, yeah, I think so. I mean,
you get a top 10 win. You're undefeated. You're 5-0. You get a top 10 win. I don't see why not.
Yeah, and that's 2 ranked wins, especially if Wake Forest wins beats Florida State this weekend.
If Wake Forest beats Florida State,
you got 2 ranked wins.
Yeah, we beat North Carolina State. We got 2 ranked wins, and we got a top 10 win. So
Michigan doesn't have that.
How many other teams can say that in the country thus far? I'm sure there'll be teams that could say it later on, but as of right now, absolutely. I think you have to move up. But
I think they would too. So
that's not up to Clemson.
But I don't, and I'm not one to get hung up on AP poll rankings.
It doesn't matter
because they don't really matter. But
it doesn't matter.
But I would expect.
But they are
if Clemson win convincingly.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we say the AP poll doesn't matter, and it doesn't. But at the end of the day, the first college football playoff poll resembles the AP poll. So
yeah, sometimes, for sure. But
it does and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
At the same time, right?
And just from an optics, standpoint, it's always it's nicer to be number 4 than number 5. Just
it's better to have your name up there in the AP poll than it is to not have your name up there leading into the first college football playoff ranking.
Right.
So, yeah. But I think that's the end of our questions tonight, Jordan Bowman. I think that's the end of our show. Do you have anything else you want to get off your chest about this Clemson North Carolina State matchup before we end the show tonight?
Just thank you guys in the comments for interacting in the comments and tuning
Absolutely.
in. It's been a great show. Had a lot of interaction. Really good talk. I mean, we've almost gone for 2 hours, and it feels like we've only been talking for 30 minutes. And that's that's because of you guys. You keep the show engaging, and obviously there's just so much to talk about because we're all fans of Clemson, and well, at least most of us in here are fans of Clemson. But even we had a Florida State fan in here. We have a Georgia fan in here.
Yep.
So fans of non-Clemson teams are always welcome too, and it really keeps the show interesting. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm really happy with the turnout and how the show has gone. So
yeah, absolutely. I think the show has grown immensely since the first time that we did it.
Yep.
Hopefully that was our worst show we ever do.
Yep.
It wasn't very good, in my opinion, but that's the whole point of creating a new show, right? Like, you grow as a show. I think we've drawn more attention as we've gone. We love all of you guys that get into the comment section Thank you for getting in there. Thank you for getting your thoughts. Again, we will spend the end of every show responding to as many comments as we can. Sometimes in the flow of the show, they get lost, but we will go back and respond to as many as we can as the show goes on. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, I apologize on my end. I had some technical difficulties. My Wi-Fi went out. But, hey, blame it on Hurricane Ian. That's his fault. But, hey, I will end this with thank all of you for tuning in. But with that thanks goes a request. Please tune in to the live post-game reaction here on the Voice of College Football Clemson channel by myself, DeAndre. Hopefully Jordan Bowman will be tuning in. If he has cell phone signal, maybe not.
We'll see.
But he'll be in on the chat, maybe regardless. And then hopefully we have Smitty in, which is our other host, for the live post-game reaction immediately following the Clemson victory this Saturday night.
That's right.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Tiger Paul Craven checking out. Jordan Bowman, thanks for joining me, man.
Thank you, man. We'll see you guys.